Welcome back to the HyperHive podcast.
Yeah.
We like to take these deep dives into some really fascinating subjects.
Yeah.
We really try to extract, like, those golden nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
So today, we're cracking open The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm so excited to unpack this with you.
Yeah.
It's one of those books that really makes you rethink how you view, money.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I think what I find so intriguing about this book is how Housel frames financial success.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't say you have to be like a math whiz,
Right.
or you have to know all the fancy financial jargon.
Yeah.
He argues that it's more about behavior, your psychology around money.
That's a refreshing take, right?
Yeah.
We're so used to personal finance being presented as this complex science with formulas and equations and
Charts and graphs.
Yeah. But Housel's saying, hey, it's actually a soft skill.
Exactly. And one of the most compelling points he makes is that no one's crazy when it comes to money.
Ooh, I like that.
We all make financial decisions that make perfect sense to us in the moment, based on our own unique experiences and worldview.
Okay, I see where he's going with this.
Yeah.
It's easy to judge someone else's choices.
Oh, totally.
Like, why are they buying lottery tickets when they can barely make ends meet?
Right. But, for someone who's always struggled financially, that lottery ticket might represent a very tangible dream, a glimmer of hope for a better future. It's a very different perspective than someone who's maybe always had financial security.
So it's less about judging and more about trying to understand the context behind people's decisions.
Absolutely.
Housel also dives into the impact of luck and risk, which I found really eye-opening.
Yeah.
He shares the story of Bill Gates and his friend.
Oh, yeah.
Both incredibly talented, but one becomes a billionaire and the other sadly passes away before reaching his potential.
It's a really sobering reminder that luck plays a much bigger role in financial outcomes than we often acknowledge. We see someone like Bill Gates and we attribute all of his success to, his brilliance and his hard work. Yeah. But there's an element of chance that we just can't ignore.
It makes you realize how comparing your financial journey to others can be kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Everyone has different starting points, opportunities, and yes, even luck. So instead of getting caught in that comparison trap, what are some things we can control when it comes to our financial well-being?
Well, I think one of the things that Housel talks about is the importance of defining what enough means to you.
Okay.
And he tells this fantastic story about John Bogle, the founder of Vanguard, and the author Kurt Vonnegut at a party full of billionaires.
Wait, I think I remember this one.
Yeah.
Bogle asks Vonnegut, how it feels to be surrounded by all these obscenely wealthy people.
Right.
And Vonnegut says something like, it's hard to be happier than I already am.
Exactly. Even amidst billionaires.
Wow.
Vonnegut had found his enough, and that brought him contentment. And this contrasts with the story of Raja Gupta, who is a brilliant and successful man who got caught up in insider trading. He had achieved so much, but still never felt like he had enough.
It's almost like social comparison is this invisible force that keeps pushing the goalpost of enough further and further away.
Yeah.
We're constantly bombarded with images of wealth and success.
Yes.
Which can really distort our perceptions.
Absolutely. And that's why I think it's so crucial to define, what truly matters to you.
Yeah.
What level of financial security will bring you a sense of peace and contentment. And on that note, Housel introduces the concept of compounding as a really powerful tool for building wealth over time.
I love how he explains it.
Yeah.
He uses the analogy of an ice age. How a little bit of leftover snow each year can eventually accumulate into massive glaciers over thousands of years.
It's a brilliant way to illustrate how small, consistent actions can lead to significant results over the long term. It's wild.
He points out that Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of all time, accumulated most of his wealth after his 50th birthday.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It really highlights that patience and consistency are often more important than trying to chase quick returns or time the market perfectly.
Right.
It's about playing that long game, just like with the Ice Age analogy.
Exactly. And this segues nicely into another key concept that Housel emphasizes.
Okay.
Saving.
All right, so we know saving is important, but what's Housel's unique take on it?
Well, he argues that saving isn't just about squirreling away money for a rainy day.
Oh, okay.
It's about creating options and flexibility for yourself, which are incredibly valuable in an ever-changing world.
Okay, so it's not just about hoarding cash,
Right.
but about building a sense of freedom and empowerment.
Yeah.
I like that.
He compares it to having like a reserve of energy,
Okay.
a buffer that allows you to adapt to unexpected challenges
Yeah.
or seize new opportunities.
It's about having the power to choose your path instead of feeling trapped by your circumstances.
If you love the content, please like and subscribe to keep us going.
And that brings us to another fascinating point that Housel raises.
Okay.
He talks about how everything worthwhile in life has a price.
Right.
And for investing, that price is volatility.
Okay, tell me more about this.
Well, he uses the analogy of Disneyland. You pay the price of admission to enjoy the rides and the experience.
Yeah.
Similarly, in investing, you have to be prepared to endure the ups and downs of the market.
Okay.
To reap the long-term rewards.
So instead of viewing volatility as a punishment, we should see it as the cost of entry for potentially building wealth over time.
Exactly.
That's an interesting way to reframe it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, one thing that really struck me about Housel's book is how he delves into the psychology of bubbles.
Oh, yeah. Bubbles. Those are always fascinating, even when they're happening in real time.
Yeah.
It can feel like everyone's caught up in a frenzy.
Exactly. And Housel challenges the common belief that bubbles form solely because people are irrational.
Okay.
He argues that it's more nuanced than that.
Okay, so what's his take on it? Why do bubbles form?
Well, Housel explains that bubbles often arise because different investors have vastly different time horizons.
Okay.
Short-term traders might jump into a market purely based on momentum,
Yeah.
hoping to make a quick profit, even if the underlying fundamentals don't support the long-term valuation.
It's like you're playing a different game altogether
Exactly.
than someone who's investing for retirement decades down the road.
Precisely. And this highlights the importance of knowing your own investment time horizon.
Okay.
And not being swayed by the actions of those playing a different game.
Yeah.
If you're in it for the long haul, those short-term fluctuations shouldn't derail your overall strategy.
So patience and discipline are key.
Yeah.
Especially when the market gets a bit wild.
Mm-hmm.
Housel also talks about the allure of pessimism. Why are we so drawn to bad news?
Well, he points out that we tend to pay more attention to negative news. And it's often easier to create compelling narratives around why things went wrong than why they went right.
Right.
It's like our brains are wired for negativity bias.
And this can really distort our perception of the world, especially when it comes to finances.
Absolutely. Pessimism often underestimates human ingenuity and our ability to adapt.
Right.
Think about the Wright brothers.
Okay.
When they first invented the airplane, people scoffed.
Yeah.
They couldn't imagine it actually working.
It's a great example of how even groundbreaking ideas can face resistance and skepticism initially.
Totally.
Yeah. It reminds us to be wary of narratives that focus solely on doom and gloom.
Exactly. There's always a counter-narrative, a story of resilience and progress.
Yeah.
And this ties into Housel's point about the power of stories.
Right. He argues that in a world filled with uncertainty, we're naturally drawn to stories
Yes.
that try to explain what's happening and what might happen next.
And because we're emotional beings, the stories we gravitate toward often confirm our existing biases.
Yeah.
Even if those biases are entirely rational.
Oh, yeah.
This explains everything from why people fall for financial scams to how market bubbles inflate.
So how do we protect ourselves from getting swept away by these persuasive but potentially misleading narratives?
Well, Housel suggests a few strategies.
Okay.
First, cultivate self-awareness about your own biases.
Okay.
What are your preconceived notions about money investing or the economy? Second, seek out diverse perspectives.
Okay.
Don't just listen to people who echo your own beliefs.
Right.
And third, develop a healthy sense of skepticism.
Okay.
Question the narratives you're being told, especially when they seem too good to be true or play on your fears.
That's great advice. It's about being an active participant in shaping your financial worldview.
Yeah.
Rather than passively absorbing whatever information comes your way.
Absolutely. And this leads us to Housel's discussion of financial advice.
Okay.
He shares a pretty unsettling story about a dentist who removed 16 teeth without consent.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It's a jarring story, but it brilliantly illustrates his point. You can't give good financial advice
Right.
without truly understanding someone's individual goals,
Yeah.
values, risk tolerance, and personal circumstances.
It's like trying to give everyone the same medicine, regardless of their diagnosis.
Exactly what works for one person might be disastrous for another.
Right, so it's so crucial to find a financial advisor who listens to you,
Yes.
asks the right questions, and understands your unique needs.
Yeah.
So it's not about blindly following generic advice,
Right.
but rather about seeking out personalized guidance that aligns with your specific aspirations.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another key point,
Okay.
the importance of flexibility.
I'm all about flexibility. Life is full of surprises.
Yeah.
Our financial plans need to be adaptable too.
Housel uses the analogy of planning a road trip.
Okay.
You might have a detailed itinerary, but you also need to be prepared for detours
Yeah.
and unexpected changes along the way.
So don't get so attached to the plan that you can't adjust when circumstances change.
Right.
Makes sense. What other gems does he offer?
Well, he talks about the changing nature of the economy
Oh, okay.
and how that impacts our financial decisions.
Mm-hmm.
He dives into the history of the American consumer, tracing how our spending habits have evolved over time,
Yeah.
particularly since the post-World War II boom.
Oh, interesting. So
Mhm.
how did that historical context shape our current views on money?
Well, that period of economic prosperity led to a surge in consumerism
Okay.
and the rise of easy credit.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how those historical events continue to influence our attitudes towards spending, saving, and debt, even today.
It's like we're all carrying this invisible baggage
Mm-hmm.
from past economic eras.
Exactly, and understanding that historical context can help us make more informed decisions about our money today.
Right?
It's not just about our individual psychology,
Okay.
but also about recognizing the broader forces that have shaped our financial landscape.
So we're products of our time.
Mm-hmm.
But we can also learn from the past to make better choices for the future.
That's the key, and this brings us to one of the most important takeaways from the book.
Okay.
Recognizing the difference between being rich and being wealthy.
Ah, yes. That distinction is often blurred,
Yeah.
but Housel breaks it down beautifully.
He argues that wealth is what you don't see.
Mm.
It's the money you've saved,
Yeah.
the investments you've made, the options and flexibility you've created for yourself.
It's not about flashy cars or designer clothes.
No.
It's about having a solid financial foundation that provides security, freedom, and peace of mind.
Precisely. It's like having a strong inner core
Yeah.
that can withstand external pressures and uncertainties.
Okay, so how do we build that strong inner core, that true wealth?
Well, it starts with making smart choices today that will pay off in the long run.
Okay.
Delaying gratification, resisting impulsive spending,
Yeah.
and making consistent contributions to your savings and investments.
It's like planting seeds that will eventually grow into a bountiful harvest.
And those seeds will flourish even more when you understand the psychological factors that can influence your financial decisions.
That's where Housel's book really shines.
Yes.
It's a roadmap for navigating those psychological pitfalls and making choices that align with your long-term goals.
It's about recognizing your biases, controlling your emotions, and developing a healthy relationship with money.
That sounds like a recipe for financial well-being. And here we are,
I can't believe it.
at the final part of our deep dive into Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money.
I know.
It's been quite a journey,
It has.
exploring all these hidden factors that shape our financial decisions.
It really has, from the role of luck and, these compelling narratives that kind of hook us,
Yeah.
To defining what enough means for each of us.
Right.
And embracing that there will be bumps along the way. I mean, we've really covered a lot of ground.
We've covered so much, so as we wrap up, what are some of the most practical takeaways that our listeners can apply to their own lives? There's so much packed into this book.
I know.
It's hard to narrow it down.
It is. I think one of the most empowering messages is that financial success isn't limited to a select few.
Okay.
It's attainable for anyone you know, regardless of background or financial expertise.
Mm.
It's about having the right mindset and building those healthy habits.
I love that's about taking control of our financial destinies, right?
Yes.
Not just letting things happen to us.
Exactly. And Housel gives us a framework to do just that. He encourages focusing on what we can control, like our saving habits, our investment strategies, and even how we react emotionally when the market takes a dip.
So instead of stressing over things we can't control,
Right.
like luck or those short-term market swings, it's about building that solid financial foundation back to basics in a way.
It is, and that foundation begins with understanding our own psychology.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging how our unique experiences and perspectives influence our choices.
This brings us back to that concept of no one's crazy that we talked about earlier.
Yes.
It's about recognizing that our financial decisions make sense to us in that moment,
Right.
even if they might seem puzzling to someone else.
That's such a crucial point. It's a call for less judgment, both of ourselves and others.
Yeah.
When it comes to money, we're all navigating this complex world,
Yeah.
figuring things out as we go.
So instead of dwelling on past mistakes or getting caught in the comparison trap, it's about learning from those experiences
Yeah.
and making more informed choices going forward.
Absolutely.
Okay, that makes sense. What else stands out as a key takeaway?
Having a clear sense of your financial goals and values is paramount.
Okay.
Remember, Housel's emphasis on defining enough.
Yes.
It's about aligning your financial decisions with what truly matters to you.
It's about finding that sweet spot where your financial aspirations and your desire for fulfillment and contentment intersect.
Yes,
That can look different for everyone.
absolutely. And hand in hand with that is the importance of patience and consistency. Remember that Ice Age analogy?
Yeah.
Small, steady actions over time can create remarkable results.
That seems to be a recurring theme in personal finance.
It is.
Whether we're talking about saving, investing, or paying down debt, consistency is key.
It is. It's about building a sustainable financial plan that you can stick with for the long run.
Yeah.
No need to chase those get-rich-quick schemes or try to time the market perfectly.
Right.
Slow and steady wins the race, as they say.
And remember, build in some room for error.
Yes.
Life's unpredictable. Our financial plans should be flexible enough to adapt to those unexpected twists and turns.
It's like having a financial cushion that can absorb those shocks.
Yeah.
That's peace of mind.
Right.
Speaking of which, House's insights on pessimism and how powerful narratives can be are really relevant today.
It's so easy to get swept up in all the negativity,
It is.
especially with how much news we're exposed to.
Hauser reminds us that while it's important to acknowledge the risks and uncertainties,
Right.
we shouldn't let fear and pessimism paralyze us.
We've overcome countless challenges throughout history.
So it's about maintaining a balanced perspective, right?
Yes.
Acknowledging the problems, but focusing on solutions.
Exactly.
And this brings us back to that crucial difference between being rich and being wealthy.
Yes. True wealth isn't about flashy displays of spending.
Yeah.
It's about having that financial security, the freedom, the options.
It's about having the resources to live a fulfilling life on your own terms without being weighed down by debt or financial stress.
Exactly. And that sense of abundance comes from making wise financial choices and building that strong foundation. And that foundation, as we've seen throughout our deep dive, is rooted in understanding ourselves,
Right.
our psychology values, and long-term goals.
So well said. What an incredible exploration of the psychology of money.
I know, right?
I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
There's so much to unpack.
There is.
But hopefully our listeners feel equipped with some valuable insights to apply to their own financial lives. I'm sure they do. Morgan Housel's book is a treasure trove of wisdom.
It is.
It can truly change how you think about money.
It really can. And now we want to hear from you.
Yes.
What were your biggest takeaways from our deep dive?
Yeah.
What resonated with you the most?
Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
It helps us keep these deep dives coming.
And be sure to check out the link below to buy the book from Amazon.
Yeah.
We get a small commission from it.
Please like and subscribe to the channel.